Clear?
Yes, you are.
Okay. This is the greenhouse gas emission strategy for Chennai's public transport system. Okay. Now, firstly, I've gone as per the procedure. I do the emission inventory analysis. Firstly, the scope one, which is the direct emission. So, as per the general data available for 2024, there are about 3,500 diesel vehicles, buses running, which is the in Chennai. Yeah, and if you do the scope one analysis, it runs about each bus is use about 40 liters of diesel. That makes to about 1,40,000 liters daily. Now, emission factors, if you multiply by 2.68 kg of CO2 per liter of diesel, it comes to about 375 metric tons of scope 1 gases. That is the CO2 gases. Then there is nitrous oxide, which is also there, and other pollutants. Then the second scope is the indirect emissions. This is including the bus depots and the administrative buildings of the transport company, that's a transport corporation. That is called the MTC, Metropolitan Transport Corporation of Chennai. They have electrical usages about 500 megawatt annually for maintenance and operational facilities. If you convert it and if you convert it, if you take the India's average grid emission factor, which is about 0.282 kg CO2 per kilowatt hour. So the annual CO2 emission comes to about 410 metric tons for scope 2 emission in Chennai. And then the scope 3 is the other indirect emission, which is transportation of fuel, waste management, and employee commuting. So if you have the employee commuting, average daily employee commutation is 10 kilometers for 2,000 employees with emission factor of 0.19 kg of CO2 emission per kilometer. So this comes to about 3.8 metric tons of CO2 emission. And then there is waste management, which is about roughly about 50 metric tons annually. So this is the three scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emission, which is the emission inventory analysis. Now coming to the setting of targets, which is this step 2. I've gone for two targets. One is the short-term targets by 2027 to reduce the CO2 emission from public transport by 30%. Okay, that is a GST reduction target, and the fleet conversion is about 50% of electrification of bus fleet. And then the efficiency improvement, that is enhance the energy efficiency improvement of transport facility by 20%. The long-term target is about 20,050. That is the to achieve net zero emissions from public transport and to achieve 100% renewable energy, so that all the transport related facilities are powered by renewable energy sources. And the full electrification of the bus fleet to electrical and other zero emission technologies. Now, how to prioritize the actions? Firstly, the electrification of buses. That is the immediate actions, and phased conversion of fleet over a 5 years. Prioritizing the older than higher emission diesel buses for replacement. Second, the priority is the infrastructure development for charging infrastructure development across the city for the electricity buses. Okay, and then the renewable energy integration. We need to have installation of solar panels at bus depots and maintenance of facility to offset electricity consumption. Then we need to have policy and regulations. We need to have implementing subsidies and for electricity bus purchases and infrastructure development, and enforcing strict emission standards for any remaining diesel buses. Then there one more priority action we need is public awareness and engagement. To launching campaign to educate the public about the benefits of electrification and sustainable transportation, and involve. That is second is the involving of stakeholder involvement, which involves community groups, businesses, and public transport users in planning and implementation procedure. Another priority action is the efficiency improvement. We need to have a rigorous maintenance program to ensure that the bus operate at optimal efficiency. Okay, this is the one which I have sent, and then we need to have facility with energy efficient lighting, HEV systems, and other energy saving measures in the infrastructure building. And then the waste management, we need to have a comprehensive recycling programs for at bus depots and promote waste reduction practices. This is what we have to ensure it. Now, how to implement it? That implementing mitigation measures. Firstly, is the public transport electrification. So we need to have a detailed action plan for transition, including the procurement process, timelines, and financial strategies for purchase of electricity buses. As on today, as on 2024 reports, the government of Tamil Nadu is going to introduce about 500 electricity buses in Chennai city by April 2025. That is their plan. Then we need to have energy efficient programs initiating retrofit projects for transport facilities, focusing on lighting, and as I discussed earlier. Then waste management initiatives. We need to have dedicated recycling facilities at depots or at designated places, and education and training staff for waste segregation and recycling best practices. Then one more thing is that we need to initiate urban green projects. We need to have strong drive for tree planting drives in collaboration with the local NGOs and the communities. And we need to develop more of green parks and green corridors along the bus routes to enhance the urban diversity and the improvement and to improve the air quality. How to monitor? That is the last step. We need to have regular emission audits. That is the annual audit and the third party verification. That is most important. Which is and then the public reporting. Then we need to have we need to publish annual sustainability reports, incorporating the progress, challenges, and future plans. The third is that we need to have a report on stakeholder engagement to include the community groups, the businesses, so that to get some feedback and ensure that the implementation goes on progress as per the target deadlines. And then we need to have a workshop and seminars to educate stakeholders about the strategy and progress. That should be the part of the reporting and the monitoring progress. And then the continuous improvement, that is the last progress report. We need to have feedback loops. We need to have certain feedback mechanisms so that we improve the strategy of sustainability strategy. Then finally, we have to go for research and development to explore new technologies and methodologies for emission reduction. So this is basically in nutshell. I have given the comprehensive green gas emission strategy for Chennai public transport system. I finished.
Well done. I think it was quite practical in a sense. Chennai government might be looking forward to such kind of suggestions. And it makes sense that you have corridors specifically for buses and cycling. In Chennai, it is quite required as well because it's quite a polluted city. Slowly, it is becoming, even though one side
Yeah.
is completely open. You are blessed that you have ocean in one side.
See, yes, correct.
He is there. But problem is, uh, you know, we are slowly polluting so much. We are clogging our
Yes.
drains, and this sea is now becoming a menace for Chennai. So,
Uh,
creating a pathways for cycling, etc.,
yes.
will
No,
not.
no, that not is not. It is not there. Firstly, the metro rail. We have four transportation. Basically, three main transportation. One is the public buses. Second is the local train, and third is the metro. Now, the metro rail is mostly underutilized because of the cost of the tickets.
Ah,
That is the main thing. So, if the cost of the ticket comes down, so more people will use the metro rail. But the electric train, they're using the maximum people are also using electricity train also. That is the best mode of traveling in Chennai. Okay, that is what we are looking at. But the metro train, they don't have the last mile connectivity issue is a metro rail problem for public transport.
okay, okay, not cycling. Sorry, I got confused with metro rail. Okay, so that sounds a good idea.